name is Clint Turner. Is everyone here? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Give you some quick history of myself. I've been in law enforcement 25 years. Prior to that, I was in the Marines, which was interesting. Finding out about myself. That's one of the things that the military did for me. In law enforcement, I've been in the county, or in Corcoran County's law enforcement for the entire time. Worked patrol, worked some undercover work, was a K-9 handler, did motorcycle detail, worked in CID, specifically with fugitive warrants. Was involved with the toll roads, in charge of those for a few years. And interestingly, heard about CIT, so I said, I'm gonna get back over there to this. So I was really excited about CIT. And where that started was years and years ago when I was just a young whippersnapper like Richard. And I was out on patrol, and at the time we had 5 people on patrol, 5. And I was working night shift. And I'm coming back from doing a DWI, going over the River Bridge, 723 right there, across Rosenberg. Right there at the River Bridge, there's a man sitting on the bridge. And he's having a conversation with himself and no one else. So I pull up, I'm thinking, okay, I've got 4 other people out there, plus Rosenberg, that can come and help me with this, but I need to get this gentleman off the bridge. I pull up there, make contact with him, do my best verbal judo, and try to get him off the bridge, and finally I get close enough where I can do the snatches, gravis, and over the correct side of the bridge we go, and we tussle around. I ended up arresting him for PI, put him in jail, he was safe for the night. But I thought from that night, what problem did I solve? Nothing. What did I do to really help this man? Nothing. I made him safe for the night. I felt safe, I could go back out. I didn't help him then. And honestly, I got so busy throughout my career trying to do as many things in law enforcement, I didn't really have the time, or I didn't make the time, to go back and explore that further. So all these years doing different things, CIT pops up, and I'm all in. So instead of me going through all of that, all the different little things that have occurred, I just wanted to pick this one case, and I've written it down. So bear with me with reading with my 99-cent glasses. Okay, the case subject is a 13-year-old female. During the early part of February 2015, I, along with a Texana Mobile Crisis Outreach team member, I want to make sure I mention Texana because they've been very good. We were called to a private residence to work with a 13-year-old female that had verbally expressed active suicidal ideation. This young person was coping with different hidden stresses in her life by engaging in self-harm, specifically utilizing the methodology of cutting her inner arm with razor blades. Upon arriving at the location, the task of establishing a rapport with the client family was quickly initiated. In a very short time, I learned this was a very loving and caring family. And the parents were deeply concerned about the pain their young daughter was experiencing. And this is a theme that I see time and time again, family after family. It was quite obvious these parents would move mountains to safeguard their family members. However, at this moment, they themselves needed help understanding the depth and complexities now present. This family needed direction and services that previously were simply unavailable before the crisis intervention team, as we know it, had been established. Active listening skills were immediately employed, and during the discovery process, I learned this young lady was the victim of a past sexual assault perpetrated upon her by an unknown entity, that being a distant relative from another country. It is notable, although this young lady was 13 at the time of this current contact, she was only 10 when the sexual assault occurred. Thus, a 3-year period had transpired. Previously, the sexual assault had never been reported to her parents, nor to law enforcement. So she'd been carrying this burden for those 3 years. I call this opening the floodgate, because when this happened, it was a cascade. During the interviewing process, I was able to ascertain pertinent information not only to the current situation, but also to that of the past. This ultimately led to not only the sexual assault being reported, but also the investigation of new additional allegations involving several others that had recently attempted to victimize this young person, once again, in a sexual manner. That's a recurrent theme we see many times also. Fear of the recent development being manipulated by social media had previously placed this juvenile in the unenviable position of being overly stressed, which was followed by anxiety and then depression. Cutting became a way to deal with the stress, as to cut is a way to release, a way to feel something, at least something, other than shame, hopelessness, helplessness, and being overwhelmed, and ultimately dysphoria. This young lady, while being a true, professional, high-fashion runway model, one that had been projected in several magazines, was subjected to bullying at a local school due to her height, about 6 foot tall. Her looks and the activities that involve the modeling world. More stress, quietly hidden, was there. Something had to break, and it did so on this day. Once again, feeling overwhelmed, she began to think of self-harm as her only way out. Clearly, currently displaying signs of possible crisis, she ultimately was assessed at the scene. That was Texana. And when it was understood she could participate in an outpatient program, she quietly and tearfully confided in me that she was still actively experiencing suicidal ideation and currently did not feel safe in her surroundings due to her own possible actions. I just thought that was, when that happened, that was just monumental, because she realized that help was available at that level, at one level, and then she realized she had the insight that her crisis was still there, and that wasn't enough. I thought that was awesome. She quickly verbally indicated she wanted help. This information was relayed to her parents, and with their blessing, she was transported to a Houston area behavioral hospital for continued care for the acute situation. The road to recovery has been slightly bumpy, with an additional hospitalization realized, though I continue to marvel at her constant hard fought forward progress, and am truly amazed by the tenacity of her steadfast resilience. This client participates in a program that currently includes therapy and medication as tailored for her success. Due to her continued recovery, I see great things in this young person's future, and I'm pleased as to the possible effects she will have with so many others. Paramount to this recovery, this level of recovery, has been the crisis intervention team. It's model of not only addressing the acute situation, but the continued care, illustrated by the ultimately preemptive follow-up visits by team members. These visits are tantamount to success, and on numerous occasions it's been verbally expressed by consumers. Just what Richard was saying a while ago, we hear it so many times. How did you know to come by and check on me? Or, I was just about to call you, because if you said if I ever had a problem, just call. If I ever start feeling this way, just call. And say it because we mean it. This case was a poignant reminder to me that although we espouse societal beliefs of understanding and caring for all, in practice, we continue to nurture the incessant infliction of pain on others, many times victimizing those who simply attempt to reach past normal comfort levels of the normal comfort level of mediocrity and elevate themselves in a world few have traveled. It's an interesting commentary indeed, as we in our society preach forward-moving action, yet in reality, we often attack those who dare even attempt such altitudes we deem reserved only for ourselves. This journey we call recovery is a true dichotomy between thought and action, and again between happiness and misery. One which leads me to stay with the crisis intervention team, and hopefully for a long time. The crisis intervention team realizes the journey of recovery is clearly not to be viewed as for ourselves only, meaning me, the one person, but for all of us, everyone, should they wish to participate. We all have the opportunity to be successful. My personal belief that guides me through life is first and foremost with my relationship with God, His Son, Jesus Christ. And my family falls right in there. So I'm very much in line with where I sit with that. But what drives me on a daily force with CIT is my mantra is, what man is a man? He doesn't try to make the room.